Okay, so first number one is yifty. Yifty. And if I'm on the wrong lesson, let me know, but I think this was right. Number two, yillipray. Yillipray. Number three, and if you're new, don't get worried. These seem hard, but in about 30 minutes from now, you're going to know how to read these kinds of words. Number three, yissipray. Yissipry. Number four, trimploy. Trimploy. Number five, prish tray. Remember, a Y acts like an I in the middle of words. It's a Greek word if it is. Prish tray. Number six, yitchy. Yitchy. 7, plistrim. Plistrim. Number 8, thimtree. Thimtree. Number 9 was our fun one last time. Yimplimtroy. Yimplimtroy. And number 10 is chai. Chai. Now I put, excuse me, I put a lot of 2-letter blends in here with the second letter being an R or an L. And I wanted to just give you an example before I forget of why I do this, because if you have a 2-letter blend or a 3-letter blend, and that first letter, that second letter is an R or an L, then the R or an L makes it difficult to read the word. What was the word that we just had? I wanted to show you. Sped, right here. Recorded this, and I'm so glad that I did so that I can play it for you guys and for other people. We spent probably 5 minutes in the last class going from this word being spled to spend. If you'll notice, there's no L or N in this word, but we spent 5 minutes trying to get those letters out of there. That L and the N will make words difficult to read, even if they're not even in there. And spled isn't even a word, but that was still the word that kept being read. Spled, spled. So we're going to work. That's why I put a lot of those L's and R's in our extra practice words to train your brain to be the boss of those letters, because they are going to try to be the boss of you. Okay, back to here. So our phonemic awareness warm-up for this time starts with wheel. How many sounds in wheel? Wheel. Put it in the chat. Count how many sounds in wheel. You might be curious about that beginning sound, so let me explain it to you. When you see a WH, it should be pronounced with no voice, only a blowing sound. WH should be pronounced as wheel, as so the word which should be pronounced that way, and it should be whether or not. And which way did it go? Should be why. When you see a WH together, it should be only a blowing sound. We say it when we speak really lazily, but it should be pronounced as in which, why, whether. All right. So I'm looking at the chat to see how many sounds in wheel. Put it in the chat. 2 letters, but 1 sound. 2 letters as a digraph. Seeing some 3s, some 4s, and some 5s. So you have to, when we do this phonemic awareness warm-up, I know that you're adults and you've seen the word wheel hundreds of times. And so you know how it's spelled, but you have to try to get those letters out of your mind, and we're only working on the sounds. We're strengthening our awareness of the phonemes. Phonemes are the smallest units of sound within a word, so they don't get muddled when we read and spell. So in wheel, there's only 3. There's E, O, E, O. So there's 5 letters in wheel, but only 3 sounds. So get the letters out of your mind and only concentrate on what you hear. Okay, what are the sounds? How many sounds in giraffe? Don't think about the letters. How many sounds in giraffe? Get this one wrong. Getting it? All right. Not getting it. Excellent. Wow. Wow. So yes, there are 4 sounds in giraffe. J, a. Nicely done. That was supposed to be hard. Wow, excellent. Okay, your ears are getting all warmed up now. How many sounds? Don't think about the letters. I know you know how to spell this word, or at least you've seen it in print a lot. So how many sounds in bridge? Only sounds. Bridge. Put it in the chat. Yes. Not one person didn't get it. Amazing, you guys. Bridge. B-r-i-j. Bridge. 4 sounds. Ah, you deserve it. You deserve a round of applause for that. I don't think I've ever had one. Anybody get any one of these everybody get it all right. That was beautiful. Okay. So today we're going to talk about you. And we're going to talk about the long and short sound of U. U is just a little complicated, not too complicated. It's not like A or even O, but U does have 2 long sounds. So it can say its whole name, which starts with your mouth in a smile and goes to a pucker. So the whole name is U. EU, that's one of its long sounds, its name, EU. The second sound, the second long sound of U is just that last part with your mouth in a pucker. Ooh, ooh. Pardon me. So long U has 2 long sounds, U and oo. So how are you supposed to know which one to use? Well, that part is not as hard as you think because you don't have to think about it. It's going to come out naturally. If it's the first letter of a word, I'm not going to tell you that yet. I'm going to get to that in a minute. It's going to come out in the shape that your mouth was in when it made the letter before it. So for instance, in the word music, you heard that it made the whole U sound, right? And that's because when you say your mouth is already in a long shape. So it's going to come out naturally as music. In the word flu, in the letter before the oo, my mouth was already in a pucker shape, full. So it's just going to come out naturally. Flu. Your mouth isn't going to back up and say the whole sound U. That would sound like this. Flu. We're not going to do that. Your mouth is going to naturally pronounce the long sound that is easiest for it to make when it's saying the word. So you don't have to think too much about that. But it is important to know that there are 2 long sounds. Most people do not know that, but now you do. The short sound for you is It's a very lazy sound. It is the same sound for schwa. So your mouth is dropped in the most lazy position it can make with no muscles being used. And same with your tongue, no muscles being used. It's just I always laugh when I make the shape of it because it looks like my face looks like I don't know, high or something. But Yeah, so it's a super lazy shape. And I'll try not to laugh when I make it. So when we say to determine if it's what sound that U is going to make, we're going to do the tap 2 rule, which we do at the beginning of every month. So it's a great time for new people to come. So the tap 2 review is we tap, whenever we come to a vowel, we tap the next 2 letters. If either one of them is another vowel, then the vowel that you were on will say its name, U. So I'm going to start with number 1. Let me blow this up a little bit. I'm going to start by circling my vowels. There's one. There's one. I'm going to do the tap 2 rule. 1, 2. Yes, there's another vowel. So yes, it's going to say its name, U. Here's another vowel, tap 2. 1, 2. No, there's not another vowel. No, it's not going to say its name. It's going to say its regular short sound, So when I pencil read this word, it's U, D, 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 D. Feel free to do those with me. And then number 1 on your side, go ahead and mark it, and I'll be quiet while you work. Mute myself and try to get this frog out of my throat while you do that. So when you pencil read that word, it's U, T, B. U-tub. U-tub. Okay, so far so good. Okay, let's try this one. Here's mine. I'm going to circle the vowels and tap 2. So go to the first vowel, tap the next 2 letters. 1, 2. There's both consonants. There's not another vowel there. So it's just going to say its normal short sound, Go to the next one, tap 2. 1, 2. There's no vowel there. So it's going to say its normal short sound, When I pencil read this word, it's S, T, N, D, blend it. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. If you had trouble with that, look, you pencil read it and you look at it while you read it. It's important to, like, if you had trouble with that, it's important to look at each letter while you read it so that you can learn that each grapheme, a grapheme is a letter or a set of letters that makes one sound, so that your brain can learn that each grapheme has a job and a specific sound that can't be omitted or inserted or rearranged. So when you read it back, I'm quite sure I understand that, Vanessa. Hang after class and say that to me again so I can understand your question. Where was I? Oh, so when you read this word back, I want you to pay attention. That's why we pencil read every single sound. And when you blend it together, make sure that you grab every sound. So here's what I don't want to have happen. When I do mine, I don't want you to look up and read it. Like after I've said it correctly, if you had trouble, I don't want you to go stand up, stand up. I want you to look at each letter as you repeat the word so that your brain will be able to connect each grapheme with its sound. And so it can be organized and the next one can be easier for you if you do that. So let's work on yours. Go ahead and mark your vowels and then try to read it yourself. Yep, I think you got it. So here we have p, o, a, s, t, a, plan stump. Plan. Plum stump. Please put in the chat how you did on that one. Plum stump. Good, Jackie. Oh, yay. Don't worry. Don't worry if it was just okay. We're getting there. That one's a little bit of a hard one. That's why I asked. Nobody needs perfection. Practice makes progress, not practice makes perfect. Who needs perfection? All right. So here is number 3. I'm going to mark my vowels. 1, 2, 3. You know that this is a 3-syllable word because there are 3 vowels not touching. Number 2 was a 2-syllable word because there were 2 vowels not touching. So I'm going to mark them. Here I have, when I tap 2, yes, there's another vowel, 1 or 2 doors down. So yes, that U is going to make its long sound. Here's another vowel, tap 2, 1, 2. No, there's not another vowel. No, it's not going to say its name. Here's a vowel, tap 2, 1, 2. No, there's not another vowel. No, it's not going to say its name. When I pencil read it, it's U, S. Eusustum. Eusustum. If you're reading it, make sure you look at each letter as you say it. Eusustum. Try yours. Thank you for all your cameras on. It really helps me to see how you're doing. Okay, so when I pencil read it, it's U, O, S, T, M. Eulustum. 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 If you're reading it right now, make sure you grab every letter as you say it. You want it to be like a line connected between. This is why, another reason why we use a pencil when we pencil read, because it makes it a multi-sensory experience. You're using 3 senses when you do that. Your tactile, your touch, your hearing if you say it out loud, and your visual. And you want to keep them all in a line. You say it as you mark it and as you see it, all in one line. Eulustum. It'll start to get more organized in your brain if you do that. Okay, number 4. So here is a vowel. Here is a vowel. So I'm going to come to the first vowel, tap 2, 1, 2. Yes, there's a vowel there. So yes, that's going to say its name. And remember, it's going to come out naturally, whether it's U or U, depending on the shape that your mouth was in when it made the letter before it. And if the letter before it is an my mouth is already in a pucker, So it's not going to go for you. It's just going to come out naturally as fru. This was oo, and this is because there's not another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. When I pencil read it, it's fru, n, d, frunud, frunud, frunud. That's not easy to say. Frunud. You're also on yours. Concentrate on the shape that your mouth is in when you make that L. It's already kind of in a pucker shape. So it's going to just, that U is going to make its ooh sound, just as a heads up. Go ahead and try yours. You practice it. Make sure you're doing what I taught you about looking and saying and moving your hand all in a line so each grapheme is organized. Let's read that word. It's p, o, u, m, a, d. Plumud. 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 Please put in the chat how you did. Plumud. Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad you're doing better on that one. Nice. Don't worry, I'm going to help you. Don't worry, stay after and I can help you. Perfection not required. All right. I want to show you some real world examples of U in the middle, or the long U versus the short U sound, so that you can see this in Adama. Ask me that after. That's a good one that I think everybody will want to know. So you can see this in the real world. So let me grab my. Okay. So here is one. You can see unicorn. There it is, making its whole U sound. Unicorn. How about upstate? That U is going to make its sound because the next two letters are consonants. This U made its long U sound because there was a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. How about, what is this word? Utilize. Utilize. It sounds kind of like a yeah when it's at the beginning, but it's all part of the U sound. It's another one with the vowel 2 doors down. So that U is going to make its long sound. Uniform. Try to spell some, just so we can throw some spelling in there also. So put in Bible in the chat, how would you spell? Now I'm going to say this really carefully because there's an a and an I, and those two sounds are really confusing. So listen carefully to which one is where. Utensil. Utensil. Put it in the chat. Utensil. Excellent. Look at all these stellar spellers. Nice. Okay, try united. United. Jackie, unity is perfect. Yes. United. Let me show you what that one looks like. I'm going to send this to everybody. Here's U. United. United. Try umpire. Remember, if you were here before, if you're ever wondering if it's an or an un, because it's really hard to hear when you're speaking, if the next letter is a P or a B, it's going to be an M. Umpire. So it's an M right there. Umpire. Let me say it better. I don't want to say empire. I want to say with my jaw dropped. Umpire. Like umbrella and under. Umpire. It's a short sound for U, so that's going to start with a U right there. Umpire. Utility. Utility. Here's a hint. When you hear an E sound at the end of the word, never spell it with an E unless it's a tiny word. Spell it with a Y. Utility. Good on umpire, much better. Good. Okay, I'm going to put in the chat how utility is spelled. Utility and umpire. So which extra practice would you like me to go over with you before I let you go? Chat, which extra practice with me do you want me to do with you? Number 8 it is. Okay. Number 8. So I know that this U is going to say U because there's another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. I know that this U is going to say because the next 2 letters are consonants. There's not another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. Same with this one. It's going to say because there's not another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. Pencil read it. It's p. Oh, pay attention to how I pronounce the sounds if you're new. So a lot of people make these harder than they are. Pull, you, because my mouth is already in that O shape. Plu, I'm going to go slow. Pull, plus. Nope. Blue, loose. Adam is like, got you. Loose, plusa, plusum, plusumt, plusumter, plusumtra, plusumtrup, plusumtrup, plusumtrup. Now, if you can read plusumtrup, you've got some reason to be proud. Plusumtrup. If these are hard, just do the first 3 sounds. Plu, and call yourself successful because you couldn't read that word before. You've never seen it before. That's the first time you've seen any of these. Plu. If you want to make it a tiny bit harder, stop right here and call yourself successful. Successful. Plusum. Plusum. So make sure that you don't get hard on yourself for not being able to read the long words. As much as you can, being successful, and stop there, because that is more than you could have done a few minutes prior, because it was a brand new word which you had never seen before. Practice makes progress. Okay, my friends, I think we have a lot of questions. I have about 5 minutes.